Hi everyone, I'm Nadia, and in today's video, my mom is making a beautiful set of charcoal resin coasters. In this video, she's using Resin by J. Diction, and after she mixes both parts well for several minutes, she separates it into smaller cups to add in her pigments. If you enjoy our videos and would like to support us, check out my new Patreon page where I also post behind the scenes content, tips and tricks, and provide answers to any questions that you might have. The link will be in my description. And I do just want to take a moment to thank everyone who watches our videos and leaves a like and a comment. All of your support really means a lot to us. The first pigment she's going to be using is DuPont's alcohol ink in the shade Mocha. And in that same cup, she adds in Pinata's yellow alcohol ink as well. And I'll have all of the products that you see in this video listed in my description, so be sure to check that out. In her next cup, she's using Just Resin's pigment paste in the shade Parchment. Next, she's using Just Resin's Bronze. And she always makes sure to mix the pigment in the container first before adding a small amount into her cup of resin. In her next cup, she adds in J. Diction's mica powder in the shade Silver Gray. Once all of her pigments are mixed in well, she's ready to start pouring, and she starts off by grabbing the mocha pigmented resin and pouring it around the edges of her molds. Then pours clear resin right alongside. Followed by her parchment pigmented resin. She'll be switching between pigmented resins and be pouring each mold slightly different to see how the order of pouring which different pigmented resins will affect the outcome. Then she takes her silver gray pigmented resin and circles around the mold several times, and does the same with her bronze pigmented resin. Then pours clear resin directly in the center. Now she goes back in with her parchment pigmented resin and again circles around the mold several times. And she follows the same steps while pouring into her second mold, just slightly varying between the pigmented resins that she's pouring. In her third mold, she starts with her bronze pigmented resin around the edges. Followed by the silver gray pigmented resin right alongside. Then takes her parchment pigmented resin and pours in between the bronze and the silver gray resin. She takes her silver gray pigmented resin once more and circles around the molds. Then pours her clear resin in the center, and again circles around the mold with her parchment pigmented resin and her silver gray pigmented resin. In her last mold, she starts off with the silver gray pigmented resin around the edges. She mixes in a bit more of her mocha alcohol ink along with a few drops of the yellow alcohol ink and pours that right beside her silver gray pigmented resin. Then pours her parchment pigmented resin followed by her bronze pigmented resin. and pours clear resin into the center. Then goes back with her mocha pigmented resin and her silver gray pigmented resin, and again circles around the mold. Now she's using a torch gun to pop any air bubbles, and she always moves it very quickly to be careful not to burn her resin or damage her molds. Now she'll be mixing in what will be her center detail for her coasters, and she's using these very small golden metallic rocks as well as some bronze leaf flakes. She mixes that together with a small amount of resin and carefully applies it into the center of her molds using her wooden stick. And here she is the next day demolding. And here's the final product. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, subscribe to see more videos like this in the future. Follow me on my Instagram, Summer Girl Designs, and my mom's Instagram, Wild Heart Resin Art.